Greetings everybody and welcome back to WagerTalk TV. This is Pavlos to break down the Champions League quarterfinal second legs for Wednesday. We got two huge matches. We got Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid and we got Arsenal versus Sporting. Reminder that both matches are played at 3 p.m. Eastern. Today, at the time of shooting, is a $5 Tuesday, so you can find several of my plays at wt.buzz/pl for just $5 each. I have a 5% total in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I told you guys I didn't like anything in the Champions League, but I do like something in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. You can find it at my page. And I also have two plays, both sides in the Copa Libertadores, and I have some smaller plays in the Champions League. Of course, you can find also my free play video on the Champions League for Tuesday in this channel or at my page. Now onwards to our free play, to our free breakdowns. So we're starting with Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. This is gonna be a pretty interesting match, to be honest. Bayern Munich, they beat Real Madrid by 2-1 in the first leg on the road in Madrid and are now minus 750 favorites to qualify. Real Madrid are at a tasty plus 560, so absolutely no value in taking Bayern to qualify, but lots of value in that plus 560 for Real Madrid. As for regulation, Bayern are now minus 185 favorites. The draw is at plus 440. Real Madrid plus 390 underdogs with a spread at 1.25 or 1.25 goals, and the total set at 3.75 or 3.75 goals. Now, right off the bat, I can't remember the last time Real Madrid were plus 390 underdogs anywhere, or the books giving them a plus 1.25 goals head start. I'm very tempted by that plus 1.25 on Real Madrid. Again, betting is all about the odds, and Bayern Munich, they don't even need to win this game in order to qualify, let alone by 2 goals to cover the spread. So Real Madrid plus 1.25 goals minus 125 is a play here. Now, just some facts regarding how teams have done in the past. Real Madrid have qualified just once in their last 7 two-legged ties in which they lost the first leg. However, they've qualified in the last 9 two-legged ties against Bundesliga sides, so a bit of conflicting results there. Bayern Munich, they've hosted Real Madrid 14 times in the past with 9 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. However, Real Madrid have remained unbeaten in their last 4 matches in this venue, with 3 wins and a draw over the last decade or so. So again, as I said yesterday in my Champions League video, again, you can find that here at the channel or at wt.buzz/pl, where it's my page. There are only a handful of teams capable of overturning such a deficit on the road, and Real Madrid are one of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to qualify. The odds are pretty tasty, so Real Madrid to qualify at plus 560 might be worth a shot. I think I'm gonna go like half a unit, 1 unit on that one. So by the same token, this match goes to extra time only if Real Madrid win by exactly 1 goal. So Real Madrid to win by exactly 1 goal is at plus 600 at FanDuel. So let's do a recap. I mean, I'm fading Bayern here. I know they could go in and they can be winning like 2-0 at the 30th minute or whatever. But again, betting is all about the odds. And if you're giving me such big odds on Real Madrid and such big spreads, I'm gonna take them. So the recap here: Real Madrid plus 1.25 goal minus 125. Smaller bets but big value there. Real Madrid to qualify plus 560. Real Madrid to win by exactly 1 goal plus 600. Before I move on to the next game, which is Arsenal versus Sporting, I want to invite you guys to like and subscribe to our channel. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about these games. I mean, there's a lot of people they're probably gonna go with Bayern money line, Arsenal money line, but be aware because neither team needs to win in order to qualify. So this is not one of the times where you see, oh, they beat them in the first leg or whatever, and on the road. It's not that, right? I mean, Bayern could easily win. Yeah, they're much more comfortable in their domestic league. They're actually going for the domestic treble. Actually, not the domestic, the treble, because they're also through to the cup, I think, like quarterfinals or something. But yeah, Arsenal, and I'm going to talk about them now. They're in a very, very weird position right now. So Arsenal versus Sporting, again, 3 p.m. Eastern start. They barely beat Sporting by 1-0 on the road last week. They scored a late goal at the 90th minute, I believe, and they took just a lead in this tie. They're now minus 1100 to qualify. Sporting are plus 800 to qualify. Again, needless to say, there is absolutely no value in taking Arsenal to qualify. Betting is all about the odds, and Sporting are plus 800. I might take a piece of that as well. As for regulation, Arsenal minus 200 favorites. The draw is at plus 340. Sporting plus 560 underdogs here. The spread is set at 1 and the total is set at 2.5. I mean, would it surprise anyone to see Sporting go to London and get a win? Or at the very least, put up a fight? It certainly wouldn't surprise me. So I wouldn't put my hard-earned money on such bad odds on Arsenal and sweat it out when or if, Sporting score a goal. So I'd much rather reduce my stake, like half a unit, 1 unit, and bet on those huge odds on Sporting. And if it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, well, I just took a plus 800 and a plus 560. So, they're both long shots. I expect my bets to lose, but what if they win? Do you want to bet your money on Arsenal and sweat it out? I do not. So, how can you trust Arsenal at the moment? They're losing left and right out of both cup competitions. They just lost to Bournemouth at home in the EPL last weekend. Now they have to play an absolutely huge. It's actually the match of the season for them. On Sunday, they're away at Manchester City, a match that will probably decide the EPL title. And I've said it before, I think Arsenal are hell-bent on winning the EPL this season. I'm not saying that they're gonna overlook the Champions League. It's just that Arteta is just as big a weirdo as Pep Guardiola, and I think he's very, very interested in the EPL. So Sunday's match might be the priority here, no matter how strange it sounds. Now, they also got injuries. I just read that Saka, Timber, Odegaard and Calafiori, they all missed the open training on Tuesday. I would personally consider them as highly doubtful to participate. They can mix and match. They still have a very strong lineup, but they're clearly not at 100%. So if they were, what would the odds be? The books are clearly valuing Arsenal a bit too much here. Sporting, listen, Sporting also have a tough schedule coming up and distractions along with that. They're facing Benfica on the weekend for the domestic league, where they still have chances for the title. And right after that, they also have the cup final versus Porto. So, this is one of the matches where I could blame you if you pick Arsenal here. I'm going Sporting here, guys. I just don't see value in backing Arsenal here. And I'm looking at social media, right? And I've seen Coach Arteta. He's using some weird mind tactics, and you can see it in the eyes of his players. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? He had them doing they were all huddled together. They were holding pens and they were holding a ball with their heads, and they were trying to dribble at the same time. And the point of that exercise was that you have to do two things at once. My dude, they're grown-ass men. Of course they can do two things at once. I think Arteta is losing the plot. I think he's like last season's Guardiola, where when things started going south, they went really south, and I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal won nothing this season. I'm not saying because I hate Arsenal. Actually, one of my best friends is an Arsenal supporter for many years. We've watched many matches together. I actually don't hate any team. I'm just looking at a very pragmatic, very realistic, very psychological view of the games. And at this point in time, Arsenal are giving me no confident vibes, right? So, So before I recap, I just have a couple of player props as well. Max Araujo, the left back for Sporting. He's at plus 180 to be carded, and I like that. The guy had 7 fouls in the first leg and he got no card. He can't keep getting away with this. I like Max Araujo to be carded at plus 180. And another play that I like is Araujo 2 plus fouls, which is minus 195 at FanDuel, and Madueke to be fouled twice, which is minus 180. If you pair the two together, it's a nice plus 123. Madueke received 3 fouls in the first leg. Araujo had 7 fouls, so makes sense. So the recap for this game is Sporting +1 at even money. Yeah, I'm going that way. A small stake bet just to see if I'm right. Sporting to qualify +800. And of course, another small bet, Sporting to win by exactly 1 goal to send this match to extra time. You know how much I love extra times, at +750. And for player props, we got Max Araujo to be carded +180 and a small same game parlay with Max Araujo to plus fouls and Madueke to be fouled 2+ times, which is +123. Now I'm gonna take the time, just a few words, because I know there's a guy who asked for Europa League plays last week, but I didn't have time. I don't have time right now, and I don't wanna, just burn your mind with a lot of plays. I'm just, I think Celta might be able to beat Freiburg, even for, I'm not sure if they're going to qualify, but -115 on Celta Vigo money line is something that is not out of the question. I mean, we've seen teams losing the first leg on the road by 3-0, just getting a consolation win at home. So at -115, it's not a bad bet. Aston Villa versus Bologna, big pass there. I took the under last week. A combined expected goals of like 2.25, but 2 goals in the late in the game just destroyed our bet. I like the draw in the Betis Braga game because the first leg was a draw. I wouldn't be surprised by another draw. I think it's at +260. I like that. It might make my card like for a 1-unit play. Same thing for Nottingham versus Porto. I like the draw here again. We might see extra time, +220 on the draw on that one. And a quick rundown of the Conference League matches, because when I looked at these games like on Monday or Sunday, I said, okay, all 4 teams that are now playing at home, they lost the first leg on the road either by 2 or 3 goals. They gotta win, right, at home, even as a consolation win. No. Here's why. And I'm going to be really quick about it. We got Alkmaar versus Shakhtar Donetsk. And I'm hitting myself in the head because Shakhtar Donetsk, one of their coaches back in the day, like in the 2000s, died a couple of days prior to the first leg. And it was a very, very, it was a coach that basically made a name for Shakhtar Donetsk in the European competitions. So whenever you have teams in such a position, they go above and beyond to honor also their former coach. I missed that 3-0 win. Now they're playing on the road. They have a lot of injuries, and actually their coach Arda Turan came out and said, "Oh, we're traveling 16 hours to, 16 hours from," because keep in mind that Shakhtar Donetsk being a Ukrainian side, they cannot really play their home matches in these European competitions in Ukraine. They're traveling to other countries. So long story short, they have a lot of injuries. So I said, okay, let's go with Alkmaar money line. I mean, they have like 7 straight wins at home. They can be really strong, but here's what put me off. Alkmaar, just 3 days after this match, they have the domestic cup final. They're in the Dutch Cup final against Nijmegen. And if they win that game, they also get a European ticket for next season. So the logic here is, do they spend unnecessary resources in a match against Shakhtar Donetsk where they had lost the first leg by 3 goals? No one guarantees, even if you put all your starters and go full throttle in this game, no one guarantees that you'll make it to the next round. So if I was an Alkmaar coach, I'd say goodbye Europa, goodbye Conference League, let's win the cup final. So pass in this game. Be very, very careful. Moving on to the next one, we got AEK Athens versus Rayo Vallecano. I said, okay, AEK Athens, they're doing really good job this season, especially at home. Rayo Vallecano, they're not good on the road. AEK Athens, they're chasing 3 goals. They lost 3-0 in Spain, and this is a team that has caused quite a few upsets against Real Madrid, I believe, against Deportivo La Coruña, against big Spanish sides. However, I passed on that one as well because, I mean, by the same token, not Arsenal, it's AEK Athens, man. Snap out of it. Okay, AEK Athens, again, they lost by 3 goals on the road. Now they need to win by at least 3 at home in order to qualify. Do they spend unnecessary resources here? Because on Sunday, they have a huge match for the Greek Super League. I'm Greek, trust me, I know, where they're leading the title race. They're 5 points above the second team, which is PAOK, whom they are hosting, and if they win that game, the domestic title is theirs, and they'll also go to the Champions League next season. So by the same token, I'm not going anywhere near this match. If they didn't have that game coming up, I would smash the money line, but now, pass. The only thing that kind of appeals to me is Strasbourg versus Mainz, and Strasbourg money line is at minus 120. I think that's a fair price. I mean, Strasbourg didn't have a weekend match. It was postponed, just as PSG managed to postpone their weekend match. So they're fresh. The problem is that, I mean, they usually win at home, but there are certain matches where they're better, but they're always stuck in draws, like a goalless draw against Lorient, a 1-1 draw against Lens, a 1-1 draw like against Rijeka. I mean, logically, they can win this one, but Mainz, I mean, they've been really, really strong lately. Their only loss was this weekend. Their only loss in the last 2 months was this weekend away at home, actually, versus Freiburg. They didn't really care for that match. I think Mainz might be able to pull something here, but Strasbourg money line might be the only home side that could win on Thursday. So let's do a recap. I'm sorry guys, it's a long video, longer than I expected, but I just wanted to give a couple of thoughts in the Europa and the Conference League. So let's do a recap. Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. I'm going with the dogs here, guys. On Wednesday, I like Real Madrid plus 1.25 goal, minus 125. I like Real Madrid to qualify plus 560. Huge odds there. Very, very big value. And Real Madrid to win by exactly 1 goal as a long shot at plus 600. This sends the match to extra time. Moving on to the Arsenal versus Sporting game, I like the dog again. I like Sporting plus 1 at even money. I like Sporting to qualify at plus 800. Again, these are long shots. Don't come into the comments saying, oh, Arsenal won 2-0, oh, you suck. It's betting. We bet the odds, right? We don't bet, we're betting, the odds and the value. We're trying to find the value here, right? So Sporting to win by exactly 1 goal is plus 750. Then I got Max Araujo to be carded plus 180. The guy had 7 fouls in the first leg. If he has 2 or 3, I think he gets carded. And another play that I like is a same game parlay with Araujo, 2+ fouls, and Madueke to be fouled 2+ times, which is plus 123 at FanDuel. Thanks for watching. I try to do my best, guys, to give you guys the value, not exactly, I'm trying to infuse the mindset, how you're supposed to bet these games. I don't care if you're an Arsenal supporter or if you're a Sporting supporter or a Real supporter. Betting shouldn't be about which team you support. It should be where you find value, and this is where I find value. If you agree with me, drop a thumbs up. If you don't agree with me, just let me know in the comments below. I'm always engaging in discussions. I love to hear. There are some guys in the comments that have really, really good ideas, and I love discussing. I love soccer. I love to give you guys some insights, and I want us to win money together. We ride together, we die together. So all my plays are at wt.buzz/pl. We have several $5 plays for Tuesday. You can find those at my page. And of course, also a free play video covering Tuesday's Champions League quarterfinals. Good luck. God bless.